Hey everybody, how we doing? Sunnyvale Rejects back in the house on a beautiful Sunday morning with another little video for his friends and family. Normally we talk about collections and books we like. Today is going to be a little bit different. Today I'm going to talk about and show you 8 classic novels that I hate, that I could not finish. Now, classics are classics for good reason. They've had the time to reach a multitude of readers. They have universal themes, their accessibility, memorable characters, original style, and they teach us about the past, you know? And if we're willing to listen, they proffer critical, good advice. But that doesn't mean we have to like them all, does it? I sure hope not. Because I am about to show you some books that I did not like that are still taught every day in schools, and people love these books, but I didn't. I'm going to apologize in advance. We got to start somewhere. So let's start with Animal Farm. Animal Farm. Published in August of 1945, I believe. I was reading an Amazon review, and this guy wrote... check this out. Let's see. He wrote, the book itself is a fantastic allegorical satire of the inevitable failure of Marxist or socialist systems of government and is a literary classic. I did not like Animal Farm for a couple of reasons. One is that animals do not talk. And that's a familiar scenario where the proletariat fights the people in charge, become the people in power, and they are just like the leaders before them, corrupted by power. But again, animals do not talk, so I had to suspend disbelief a little bit too much. And I like 1984, even though when I think of 1984, I think of a drab setting, gray, tasteless, bland gin, for example. But I liked 1984, did not like Animal Farm, and I refused to teach it. But on the back of the book it says, a farm is taken over by its overworked, mistreated animals. With flaming idealism and stirring slogans, they set out to create a paradise of progress, justice, and equality. But as you know, utopias do not exist. Anywhere there's a power structure, so it was doomed to fail. Okay, number 2. The Great Gatsby, published in 1925. Most people consider it a literary gem, but I hated it. I could not finish it. And I could have walked away at any point. I just didn't feel like I cared about any of the characters at all. And I didn't really care for the language. I can appreciate Gatsby's rise from poverty to wealth, but that's about it. Could not finish The Great Gatsby, did not like it, and the students that I teach cannot resonate to this book. On the back it says, this is a book that endures generation after generation because every time a reader returns, we discover new revelations, new insights, new burning bits of language. Read and bear witness to the story's permanence, its robust heart. Yeah, when it comes to describing social scenarios, social ills, how those problems were rectified, if they were rectified, I think that Chekhov and Dickens did it better. So The Great Gatsby, didn't like it. Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. With its light and bright and sparkling dialogue, its romantic denouement, and its lively heroine, Pride and Prejudice is Jane Austen's most perennially popular novel. The love story of Elizabeth Bennet and Fitzwilliam Darcy. See right there, I don't want to read a book about a dude named Fitzwilliam. That's just a little bit too lofty for me. Who misjudge, then challenge and change each other. It is also a novel about the search for happiness and self-knowledge in a world of strict social rules where a woman must marry well to survive. It makes a mockery of marriage. It is a frivolous a frivolous novel with frivolous characters and silly-ass debates that don't have no bearing on the real world. I did not like it. I will not teach it. Catcher in the Rye, 1951, J.D. Salinger. The Catcher in the Rye. A parent of a student once found 785 profanities in this book, but all I can remember is the word God over and over and over, to the point to where I never wanted to hear it again. But I found this book plotless, superficial, shallow characters, and there was really no payoff in the end. Some even say it's anti-American. But what do you think? The Catcher in the Rye. I did not like it. And as far as I can remember, it didn't really have an ending. It just stopped. Was that original? Was it very inventive on his part? Or was that just the lazy, easy way out? I don't want to hear just two kids that don't know anything about the world walking around talking about God knows what with no point to anything. It's The Catcher in the Rye, and I did not like it. But I did finish it. Louisa May Alcott's Little Women, 1868. Preachy. Bland as a boiled potato. The main campus, what was her name? I think it was O.B. Casperson in February of 2025, wrote a very good article, essay, on why Louisa May Alcott's Little Women sucks so bad. Yep. She was urged to write a girl's book by her publisher to appease her new readership. And so this book was written. She probably hates it too. The charming story of the March sisters, Little Women, has been adored for generations. Readers have rooted for Laurie in his pursuit of Joe's hand, cried over the family's tragedy, and dreamt of traveling through Europe with old Aunt March and Amy. Aspiring writers have found inspiration in Joe's devotion to her writing. In this simple, enthralling tale, Louisa May Alcott has created four of American literature's most beloved women. I do not believe that. Not for a split second. If you want to be bored to tears and just have to grind your way through a book, I suggest you read it. Especially if you like small-ass font that you need a telescope to read. Go on, give it a shot. Little Women. Don't like it, won't teach it. Okay, boy, oh boy. Here's one that's going to piss a lot of people off, and I'm very sorry. But I did not like Dracula. 1897. Like Frankenstein, it's kind of a treatise on man's overcoming of nature and the natural world, the natural order of things. You know, but I do not like books that have lots of journal entries or letters in them. I'd rather just good old-fashioned storytelling. I think that sometimes when you write journal entries, and there's a lot of them in this book, you can kind of get away with lazy writing, you know, without being too detailed, without being authoritative, meaning truthful and honest, because people are ultimately fallible, and in these journal entries, it too much is left to the speaker's perspective, if that makes sense. So you can kind of, it's filler, plain and simple. Sorry, it's filler. Okay, yeah, some of it adds to the plot and the story, but most of it's filler. There he lay, looking as if youth had been half renewed, for the white hair and mustache were changed to dark iron gray. The cheeks were fuller, and the white skin seemed ruby red underneath. The mouth was redder than ever, for on the lips were gouts of fresh blood, which trickled from the corners of the mouth and ran over the chin and neck. Even the deep burning eyes seemed set amongst swollen flesh, for the lids and pouches underneath were bloated. It seemed as if the whole awful creature were simply gorged with blood. He lay like a filthy leech, exhausted with his repletion. Yes, I liked the movies. I really did. I even liked the newer version with Gary Oldman in it, which is old now, but it was new then. But the one with Gary Oldman was pretty good. Some have said this is a document capturing the anxiety of Eastern Europe invading Western Europe. I see it more as an exploration of Stoker's views on repressed sexuality. And again, small-ass print. I don't like no small-ass print, but I do like the cover of this book. It's great, and I'm going to find some kid at school to give it to. But I lost interest in this book very, very early on, and I tried a couple of times to read it. Never could finish it. I'm sorry. Okay, 2 books left. One, oh boy, I hope you don't love this novel because I couldn't stand it. It is 1914's Ulysses. Ulysses by James Joyce. I found this book extremely pretentious in the same way that I found The Catcher in the Rye pretentious. It all takes place in one day in Dublin, Ireland, and the book follows Stephen, Molly, and Leopold in their experiences in one day, 24 hours in Dublin, Ireland. Did not like it. Thought the characters it just didn't make an impression on me. I didn't give a shit what happened to these characters. And good writers, now this guy's a genius, don't get me wrong, I love the Dubliners. He's a genius, but the goal is to find or to create lovable, likable characters that live on long after you close the book, right? Memorable characters. Now, I didn't get that in this book. It's Ulysses by James Joyce, and I did not like it, and I don't know very many people that did like it. I know they read it because they thought they had to read it to be considered well-read, but if you ask somebody what it's about, they'll say, I have no idea. There's a lot of stream of consciousness in here, and he did it first, and then Virginia Woolf, and then Faulkner later. Stream of consciousness is kind of, you're in present, modern day, whatever, city, whatever time, and there's a flashback. Without explicitly stating it's a flashback, the character might go back to when he's 7 years old and start talking about memories he has. I think Faulkner did it best, but he's probably the originator. James Joyce's astonishing masterpiece, Ulysses tells of the diverse events which befall Leopold Bloom and Stephen Dedalus in Dublin on 16th of June, 1904, during which Bloom's voluptuous wife Molly commits adultery. Initially deemed obscene in England and the USA, this richly elusive novel, revolutionary in its modernistic experimentalism, was hailed as a work of genius by W.B. Yeats, T.S. Eliot, and Ernest Hemingway. But I know a lot of people didn't like it, and some other writers of the era dissed on it too. They called it frivolous as well. Anyway, that's Ulysses. It's a thick-ass novel with small-ass print. All right, here comes the worst novel I ever had to read, and it is 1851's Moby Dick. You might say to yourself, damn, that's a cool cover. And it is. It's very cool. See? Herman Melville in the O there. But this book is boring, plodding, trite, small-ass print, too detailed, and there is 40 pages of how the hell to tie a knot. If you want to read 40 pages on how to tie a knot, then please be my guest. I could not do it. If you want to read some a like story or something else by Herman Melville, I would read Billy Budd, or just go ahead and read 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or The Old Man in the Sea by Hemingway. You'll be much better off. This does kind of compare the democratic notion to the all hands on deck thing here. Everybody's working towards the safety and health and progress of the other. They're all hands on deck for Captain Ahab in his journey to redeem himself and chase the white whale that bit his leg off, you know. So they're all on point when it comes to the leader's mission and the notion that everybody contributes to the good, you know, of the other. And I can appreciate that. But small ass print, thick ass book. This book is at least 469 pages, and then there's a little epilogue, as if he couldn't say it all in that many small ass pages. But just didn't really like it. I thought it was the payoff was okay in the end. The way it ends, and I won't spoil it for anybody. It's kind of like Crime and Punishment. If you can get past all those long ass Russian names, and there's 3 of them for every time they mention Raskolnikov, just about every time, you know, then maybe the payoff is worth it. The rest of these books, I didn't think had any kind of payoff at all. I didn't really enjoy the ones I could finish. I didn't really enjoy the ending. The ending was the best part of this damn book. But are you strong enough to make it all the way through? Moby Dick is the story of Captain Ahab's quest to avenge the whale that reaped his leg. The quest is an obsession, and the novel is a diabolical study of how a man becomes a fanatic. But it is also a hymn to democracy. There we go. Bent as the crew is on Ahab's appalling crusade, it is equally the image of a cooperative community at work, which I said. All hands depend on all hands, each individual responsible for the security of each. Among the crew is Ishmael, the novel's narrator, ordinary sailor, an extraordinary reader, digressive, elusive, vulgar, transcendent. The story Ishmael tells is above all an education in the practice of whaling. Okay, there it is. Do you want to read a book on the practice of whaling? I do not. In the art of writing. Expanding to equal his mighty theme, not only the whale, but all things sublime. Melville breathes in the world's great literature. Moby Dick is the greatest novel ever written by an American. I find that very, very hard to believe. And that is it. I have shown you guys the books that I could not finish, the classics that, look, I can't say hate. Hate is a strong word, but it rhymes with 8. And we had 8 books, did we not? No, listen, all of these writers deserve our respect. They're originators in some sense, but I like some of their other work better than these books. And if you've read these books and enjoyed them, more power to you. But if you're thinking about avoiding boring books that are a waste of time, avoid these. Stay cool. Never stop reading. And have a great day.